Hello, you just saw my foot. I twisted my ankle and tore some ligaments last week when I was going out for a run. And I didn't notice this little empty can of rocket fuel, you know, those energy drinks, Red Bull or something. And I landed on that with my foot. This is the result. Now this still doesn't make me a victim. More about that later. First, let's go to the person who threw his empty can onto the street. What was going through his mind? We can only guess. But it could be that he was thinking, oh, well, I have this empty can now, and where do I throw it? There are no trash bins here. Oh, well, then I'll just throw it here out on the street. Basically, what he's saying is, it's the other people's fault. Now, that kind of thinking is victim mentality. It's his responsibility. Could be something else, we'll never know. Now, anything that happens has multiple causes. And there was also a factor that is personal. There was something that I did that caused this accident, this injury that I'm suffering right now. Not too much, by the way. I was thinking something negative less than a minute before this happened. I was thinking about Café Loki. This is a cafe in Ryke I heard about. I was wondering, why would you call your cafe after one of the negative entities in Northern mythology? Loki, of all the gods that Northern mythology has, is really a nasty shit, a cause of trouble in Northern mythology. You really have to read books like this to know more about it. Doesn't matter. It was negative, and as it happens, the world outside you is a reflection of the world inside you. Your thoughts, be they conscious or subconscious, will be reflected by the world around you, what happens to you. This is very difficult for the Western mind. Well, I'll give you a few examples. There are people driving to some destination thinking, oh, one red light after another. And by thinking that, they will have one red light after another. Then they're thinking, oh, when we get there, oh, it will be so much trouble finding a parking spot because there's always trouble there. And they will have trouble finding a parking spot. Whereas other people say, oh, one green light after another. This is just great. They accept any occasional red light. And they also think, well, when we get to our destination, you'll see I will always have a parking spot. And they do. And to other examples, you have people writing a job application expecting not to be invited because, for instance, their name is Mohammed, and indeed they do not get invited. Or you have people who are walking in a dark alley late at night, being afraid to get robbed or raped, something like that, and they raise the chance of experiencing that. This is how it works. You radiate your expectations, your own convictions. Now, there are people who have written books about this. If you go to the medical, then there's a lady by the name of Christiane Beerlandt who's written this big book. It's also translated in English, not to worry. And this big book is about any disease or medical affliction you may encounter and what the psychological cause of this is. No, it's not bacteria, that's not what it's about. It's deeper, it's psychology. You can look up anything you have, like for instance tore a ligament in your ankle. And Christiane Beerlandt has written down what the significance is. She's not the only one who's written books like this. In the United States you have Louise Hay, who has written similar work. And in Germany you have Dr. Hamer, this man, who has more of a focus on cancer. He experienced cancer himself, testicular cancer, after losing his son. There's a link, because the organ, testicles, are for reproduction, for offspring, and he lost offspring. So that got him thinking, and he set up a whole list of the organs and what the cause was. It puts it as a trauma, a source of trauma, where the body at some point says, well, if this keeps going on like this, then I have to do something. So I'll start making new cells to resolve this issue. And that's what is called cancer. He has successfully treated people with this theory. Now this goes further. As explained, things that happen to you with red lights or green lights or parking spaces, there's more about that. For instance, this Belgian lady, Christiane Beerlandt, also written a book about the animals you encounter. If you, for instance, see a raccoon in the Netherlands, then that has a significance. For one thing, because there are no raccoons in the Netherlands. So you can look that up. Or it could be in a dream, by the way. Or if you crave certain foods, that also has a significance. And beside that, she's written books about more daily events, like getting a traffic ticket, being a victim of burglary, stepping in dog shit, all that sort of thing. There is a psychological meaning to this, because life doesn't send you an email or an SMS. Life gives you signals this way. Now you don't have to believe that, of course, but you can read such a book and decide for yourself if this applies to you, yes or no. Now, remember one thing. It is good to master your conscious thoughts, but there are also unconscious thoughts. Things that happened to you earlier in life, things that didn't quite go well, may leave you with certain convictions that are now stumbling blocks, blockades that do not allow you to reach success. These have to be dealt with as well, and they can be dealt with. There are people who specialize in getting rid of those blockades and making the road clear to fulfilling your life's goals. This is all possible. Again, it's personal responsibility. And again, don't believe anything, but check it for yourself. Thanks for watching. If you want to do me a favor, then like this video below or sign up for all new episodes.